Hey guys, new video here. I want to talk about how to beat Entombment, which is the floor 4 trap room of Sanctum, the fireball room, really easily for no hit runs. With the strat, you can just run through it pretty easily without getting hit 99.9% of the time, or really 100 if you take it really carefully. So what we're going to be using is Searing Bond. This is a totem that you can place in front of the fireballs to block them, and this was actually used in the original Sanctum. But it's received a pretty big buff in that with quality you can get +2 to maximum number of summon totems now. This was the phantasmal version before, but it's now in quality. So if I socket this in, just anywhere, and I place it, you can see that it feels pretty bad. It's very slow, and you can imagine as this fireball is flying toward me, this will be going off really slowly, and I'll just be sitting here for, 13 years trying to cast a totem. So that's where the new tech that I've been using comes in. I pull this up. We're using Widow Hail with an artillery quiver. Now, what this does is an artillery quiver gives you 30% base totem placement speed. This is pretty big. If I socket this in, so here's Searing Bond, I'll put it in my quiver, or bow. I put in, okay, put it in my Widow Hail. Now we have artillery quiver. What this is doing is it's boosting my artillery quiver, which is giving me 30% totem placement speed by 250%. So that's 60, 90, 115, right? Or 105, 105% totem placement speed. So with that, this is what it looks like. You can just spam them. Whereas for context, this is what it looked like before. Or, sorry, that was a stupid example because I still had it in. But there, that's what it looked like before, right? Now, you can go even further with this. By using a simplex amulet, which I know these are very expensive, you can get 88% totem placement speed on it. This is through T1 unveiled totem placement speed. Now, you don't need this, you could just do crafted, which I think is... check. Oops. Placement speed on amulets. It's 30%. So instead of 40%, you can get 30%. So this would be 60% through the simplex. And then you can also get quality for speed mods. So through this amulet, I'm getting 88% through the affix alone, and 30% totem placement speed from the anoint. Now we don't really need damage when we're using this amulet, so we can use any anoint we want. So I'm using Totemic Zeal, which gives us 30% totem placement speed. So if I put this in, I can Giga Spam totems. This feels really nice. So as fireballs are coming toward us, I can just buffer them straight. Let me go to Blood Aqueduct to show an example. I'll include some examples from actual Sanctum at the end. So as fireballs are coming toward us, I can just spam totems. Now an important thing is that if I have a totem in front of me, and there's a fireball coming from this direction, right? I don't want to stand right here, because I'll still take damage from the splash damage of the fireball. So, you want to buffer a few in front of you. So, say I place my first totem here. As fireballs are coming toward it, it hits, right? I want to already have a totem in front of it. Say up here. So that by the time this one drops, which these last a while, these last 8 seconds. So I can place a totem, there could be more coming, right? Here comes another one, and then it hits this one. I'm still way back here. So then I can place another one, and they keep kind of buffering, right? So keep your mouse in a locked position, and just keep spamming totems. Now, I deal enough damage that I can still clear stuff with Stormbrand, because it's in my chest, while I'm using a weapon swap and an amulet swap, so I'm losing like 90% of my damage. I still deal enough to one-shot everything, pretty much, except for bosses, of course, but you're not using the setup. So yeah, that's basically the tech. We're using Widow Hail for totem placement speed with an artillery quiver. You could roll this to have movement speed on it through Hunter. I just decided it's not necessary. I actually like having lower movement speed in the trap rooms. And then, of course, you don't need a perfect Widow Hail. You could do anything above like 200% and it would still feel great. And then you could just use a normal amulet instead of simplex to make this much cheaper. Oh, that's this one. You could use a normal amulet and then still anoint Totemic Zeal. I think it's really cheap. It's like, yeah, green, green, purple. Okay, so I'm gonna insert some clips from Actual Sanctum after this from both floor 2 and floor 4. Personally, I don't really use this tech in floor 2 because it's not, I don't think it's necessary. They're pretty easy to dodge. But if you do want to completely change the mechanic, then you can use it in both. So first it's going to be floor 2 and then floor 4. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, subscribe and like. Thanks.